There is a parasite that can take a mouse and reprogram its deepest instinct, turn its single greatest fear into an attraction so that it walks calmly toward the animal that's about to eat it. That parasite is real, it's incredibly common, and there's a decent chance it's living in your brain right now. Let me start with the joke everybody makes, the crazy cat lady, the one with 11 cats, who talks to them, who's maybe a little off. You've laughed at it. It's a whole cultural stereotype. Harmless. Just a lonely person and their pets. Except, a group of scientists looked at that stereotype and asked a genuinely unsettling question. What if it's not entirely a metaphor? What if there's something being passed between the cats and the person? Something microscopic that could, in the smallest, subtlest way, be nudging the human's brain. What if crazy cat person isn't just a personality? What if, in part, it's a symptom? And I know how that sounds. It sounds like a bad late-night documentary. So let me be completely honest with you up front. The part about the mice is rock-solid, proven, uncontroversial science. The part about humans is one of the most fascinating, most argued about questions in modern biology. Real researchers, real data, and a real fight over what it means. Stay with me, because the honest version of this story is actually stranger than the clickbait one. First, meet the parasite. It's called Toxoplasma gondii toxo, for short. A single-celled organism, far too small to see. And toxo has one bizarre obsession. It can only complete its life cycle, only truly reproduce, inside the gut of a cat. That's it. Cats are the one place it can have babies. Every other animal it infects, mice, sheep, you, is just a waiting room. A temporary host it's using to try to get back into a cat, which creates a problem for the parasite. If it's stuck inside a mouse, how does it get into a cat? Well, cats eat mice. But mice are very, very good at not being eaten. A healthy mouse is terrified of cats. It can smell cat urine from across a room, and it will freeze or flee, hardwired by millions of years of evolution. That fear is the wall between the parasite and the only place it can breed. So the parasite learned to knock the wall down. Here's the experiment, and it still gives me chills. Researchers infected rats and mice with toxo, then tested their reaction to cat odor. Uninfected rodents did what rodents do. Avoided it, feared it. But the infected ones? The fear was gone. And in some of the studies, it went further than gone. The infected rodents were actually drawn to the smell of cat urine. The scientists called it fatal attraction, the one scent in the universe that should send a mouse running. And the parasite had flipped it into something almost appealing. It surgically deleted a single specific fear, left everything else about the mouse intact, and pointed it straight at the cat's mouth, which is exactly where the parasite wanted to go all along. How? Toxo forms tiny cysts, and it settles into the brain. And here's the kicker. The parasite carries genes that let it crank up dopamine, one of the brain's key signaling chemicals, the one tangled up in reward and motivation and fear. A brain parasite, holding the controls to the mouse's own emotional wiring, turning a knob. It's not science fiction. It's a documented, replicated fact. Now, you are not a mouse. So here's the question that the whole internet skips straight past and gets wrong. Can this thing get into a human, and if it does anything happen? The first half is easy and a little uncomfortable. Yes, toxo infects humans constantly, and estimates suggest something like a third of all people on Earth may carry it, dormant, for life. And here's the twist. Most people get backwards. You almost certainly didn't get it from a cat. The most common way humans pick up toxo is undercooked meat and unwashed vegetables or contaminated water. The cat litter route is real, but it's not the main one. For the vast majority of healthy people, the infection is completely silent. You'd never know. You might have it right now. It usually does nothing you can feel. The two groups who genuinely need to be careful are pregnant women and people with weakened immune systems. For them, it's a serious medical concern. And that part is not debated at all. But then there's the big question, the one that turns interesting into unforgettable. If this parasite can quietly retune a mouse's brain chemistry, does it do anything, even something tiny, to ours? And this is where I have to be straight with you, because this is exactly where the internet lies. Some studies have found correlations: infected people showing slightly slower reaction times, a statistically higher rate of traffic accidents, and researchers have reported links between toxo and higher rates of risk-taking, and even modest associations with certain psychiatric conditions. One study even found infected people were more likely to start their own businesses, more willing to take the leap. Bolder, less afraid. But And this is the part the scary videos cut out. A very large, careful study followed a group of people for decades and found basically none of the dramatic personality effects the earlier work suggested. Correlation kept getting mistaken for cause. Maybe the parasite makes people bolder. Or maybe bolder people just eat riskier food and own more outdoor cats and are therefore more likely to catch it. Nobody has proven the arrow points the way the headlines claim. Right now, honestly, it's an open question. Real, unsettled, genuinely argued over science. And here's the second twist, the one that makes it bigger than you and your cat. In 2022, researchers studying wild wolves in Yellowstone found the infected wolves were far more likely to do daring things, leave the pack, strike out alone, even become pack leaders. Out in nature, at the scale of whole populations, this microscopic thing may be quietly tilting who takes risks and who becomes a leader. Not by force, just a thumb, gently, on the scale of behavior across millions of hosts, without a single one of them noticing. So no, your cat is not plotting against you, and you don't need to rehome anyone. The real villain, if there is one, is mostly the undercooked burger. But somewhere in the story of that crazy cat lady joke is a genuinely humbling idea. That the line between my personality and something living in my head might be a little blurrier than we'd like. Sleep well, and maybe cook your steak all the way through.